Video games are used by scientists, the military, and people like us. Their evolution has spread across arcades, consoles, computers, and smartphones. Video games can be found everywhere, but they were first made in science labs. The earliest U.S. video game patent on record was in 1947 and was filed by Thomas T. Goldsmith, Jr. and Ethel Ray Mann. At the time, they called it cathode ray tube amusement device. Some of the earliest video games include the Nimrod computer, OXO, Tennis for Two, and Space War. None of these early video games were sold to the public because either they were too big or too expensive to take out of the lab. This changed when Ralph Baer wondered how he could get video games out of the lab and into people's living rooms. In 1972, Baer's idea led to the release of a game console called Odyssey, which allowed you to play a game on your TV. Around the same time, two other men, Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney, were working on making something similar in a company called Atari. Atari's first game release was in 1972 and it was called Pong. Pong is credited as the first commercially successful video game. Hi, my name is Araceli Cobos and this is my project. So I'm going to begin by talking about the questions that the professor provided for us. According to the material we have covered in both Gains and Gaps, leisure was often an outgrowth of a household task, a part of social encounters, a function of family interactions, part of a broader social movement, or a concept of time attached to class status. Traditional gender roles didn't allow women to have very much time for leisurely activities, and playing something like a video game was not allowed by society at the time. Playing video games has been predominantly male in the past because it was mainly men who were creating the games. The games were later targeted at male consumers, and so men were the ones to purchase and play the games. But it wasn't always like this. According to an American video game website that publishes news, culture, reviews, and videos called Polygon, when the video game industry was just starting, the games were not specifically geared towards men or women. They were made for everyone to enjoy. Girls have always played video games, but they've never been the majority. Even now, not many women play video games, but there's been an increase over the past decade or so. In the games themselves, female characters are heavily stereotyped against or ignored altogether. Tracy Yates, author of An Examination of Violence and Gender Role Portrayals in Video Games, Implications for Gender Socialization and Aggressive Behavior, analyzed a sample of 33 popular Nintendo and Sega Genesis video games and found that there were no female characters in 41% of the games with characters. In 28% of these, women were portrayed as sex objects. Nearly 80% of the games included aggression or violence as part of the strategy or object. While 27% of the games contained socially acceptable aggression, nearly half included violence directed specifically at others, and 21% depicted violence specifically directed at women. There are several reasons why more women don't play video games. The main ones being that they don't want to deal with the blatant sexism or the harassment that tends to happen when men find a woman playing a man's game. There haven't been any monumental changes in women's participation due to the way men receive women into their midst. An example of why women are hesitant to play video games or study to be a game developer is Gamergate. According to Eric Kane, a Forbes contributor, Gamergate refers to the online backlash against perceived breaches of journalistic integrity on video game news, but it's really just an attack on a specific female game developer, Zoe Quinn, and how she achieved success by sleeping with male journalists. Gamergate went to extreme measurements against Miss Quinn, so extreme that she received death threats and left her apartment because she did not feel safe there. So, for this cross-gendered project, I choose to play League of Legends because it is one of the most played video games in the world. 67 million play every month. League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena game. Players choose a role from an expanding cast of powerful champions and join forces in strategic, fast-paced gameplay to take control of the enemy's end of the battlefield. I had never played video games before because they didn't appeal to me. As a woman, I didn't want to play a game where the women are portrayed as sexualized objects and are insignificant compared to the male protagonists. I liked playing League of Legends because, although the women are still sexualized, they at least gave the female characters a good backstory that showed they were strong, independent, and capable of fighting on their own. My experience playing League of Legends was entertaining but also informative. It was kind of fun to play, and I had some friends helping me learn the basic moves of some of the characters. I'd say that I learned a lot while playing the game, and I found out why it's so appealing to guys. It's something that is easily accessible, provides an outlet for pent-up frustrations, and is a good way to bond with others.